This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are back here on Money Moves, hour 2 kicking off here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM channel 158. Stormy Buonantony with you live in downtown Las Vegas at Circa Resort and Casino alongside Grace Remington, who's out there in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, holding it down. Lots to get to this hour. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have Stephen Hennessey of Golf Digest help us break down the Masters. We will give some interesting markets around the Masters outside of just the outrights, top 10s, top 20s in a couple minutes. We've also got plenty of baseball, plenty of NHL, plenty of action upon us over the course of the next 60 minutes. Cardinals and Pirates in action right now. Scoreless in the second inning. We will keep you updated on that one. Live total is low at 6.5. And a couple of games that are about to get started in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, Grace. We've got the Marlins and Mets as well as the Yankees and Tigers. Let's start there in Detroit, where the Yankees have now dropped 3 straight games, including back-to-back in this road series against Detroit. Shut out yesterday 5-0. Tigers riding a 5-game win streak and 7 of their last 8 after losing that 3-game set to the Dodgers to start the season. Jack Flaherty on the hill for Detroit is a plus 120 home dog against Max Fried and the Yanks. They're minus 142 favorites. Total in that one sitting 7 right now.
So I originally did not have a play on this. No play on the money lines. I think they are juiced. So there's just not a plus EV play on either side. The total, I don't know if it was 7.5 last night. I thought it was exactly where it should be. But now that we're seeing some 6.5, 7s, I think you could play the over. It will be a pitcher's duel with Max Fried and Jack Flaherty. But the projections do have them at 7 runs. So if you want to lay the juice over 6.5 at minus 135, I personally wouldn't. But I think over 7 at minus 103, you could play that. If you're okay with pushing, 7 is the most common result for baseball totals. So that's even in a pitcher's duel, that's most likely where this game ends. But you do have good pitching weather, 44 degrees at first pitch, low humidity, 8 to 9 mile an hour winds blowing in toward home plate.
Okay. How about Marlins Mets here? Anything that stood out to you in that one that's also about to get underway?
This one I actually did play last night. I played the under 7 at even odds. Looks like there's some minus 105s for the under there. But one of the best pitching environments of the day, 44 degrees, humidity dropping to 28%, and you have wind blowing across the field into that right field corner. So that can kind of make things confusing. 2 pitchers who are kind of underrated, I think. Taylor McGill, he's allowed 1 earned run in 10 1/3 innings with 2 wins to start the season. I don't think that type of production is sustainable, but his expected ERA is still good. It's 2.87. And then the Marlins against right-handed pitchers, one of the worst offenses in the MLB. They strike out at the 3rd highest rate, over 27%, and their weighted on base average, also the 3rd worst at 271. On the other side, you have Max Meyer, who has been working his way back from Tommy John surgery last year. And in his last time out against the Braves, we saw some upside and downside. He did allow 3 earned runs on 8 hits, but he also struck out 8 batters. He has a really good fastball that sits at 95.3 miles an hour. He has a really good slider, both of them generating a lot of whiffs. So I like the pitchers here. They're getting a weather boost. Let's play the under 7.
I like the under 7 too. Okay, I'm glad that we're like-minded on this one because I think I'm going to fire on that real quickly. Even just looking at the bet percentages right now, it's low percentage of bets on the under, but we're seeing that sharp move toward it where the handle percentage is much higher. I don't believe in the Marlins offense at all. I like the upside from McGill. I think Meyer's early season success can lend over to a good performance here as well. So yeah, let's roll. Team play under 7. I'm about it. Okay.
Love it.
Shifting back to a little Masters action. I mentioned it earlier. You are already in your Masters in Augusta green, which we love to see. Maybe we need to run this through the whole rest of the week. But in addition to the outrights that you can bet, we love betting top 10s, top 20s, different things like that. The Masters have expanded their markets and they're giving us so much opportunity of different things that we can bet. And I know there are a handful that you were delving into, top live golfer, top debutante, there's top senior, there's a million different things. But what I found interesting about our conversation earlier in the show was that you are actually really interested in some of these live guys, which I know a lot of other golf bettors have been kind of backing off this week just because there's the hesitancy of what are they really doing because we haven't seen them in as many of these PGA major events, right? So top live golfer is one market specifically I anticipated you to have interest in given what you were doing, and you do. So what stood out to you here?
Well, honestly, I probably, if we're looking at the actual specialty market of top live golfer, I'm not going to bet into that market and like have these live guys competing against each other. Where I am really backing the live guys is in DFS because they're not going to be as popular of picks just because everyone is so hesitant to back them. But looking at this market specifically, I think it's priced pretty well. Jon Rahm is expected to be the leader among these live golfers. I did find some value on him in top 5 plus 320. I would bet him there, but I do think he's priced as the favorite to lead all of the live guys. And I think that's correct. I think Joaquin Niemann has a little bit of a better chance of finishing higher than Bryson. Last year, Bryson finished tied for 6th here using his 3D printed irons, and it made all types of Personally, I love it. I love when people use technology to get ahead. I mean, it's in the rule book, so if you're smarter, go for it. But it caused headlines because the previous 2 years he had missed the cut, and now all of a sudden he's a top 10 finish. I do think there's always a high floor with him with the driver. And then in 3 of 5 live tournaments this year that did track data, he lost strokes putting. So that's the thing with him. Like for him to win, everything has to go right. And I just feel like Joaquin Niemann has been putting better results together lately. So that's the only like inefficiency I found in this specialty market is it should be Rahm, Niemann, Bryson instead of Rahm, Bryson, Niemann.
Okay. So potentially some value there on Niemann then at 5-1 in the market as the third shot where things sit right now. Any of these other, top whatever golfer things that you did like or thought that you saw a potential advantage?
Yeah. So I was looking at the top Nordic golfer and there's only 4 guys here, Ludvig Åberg, Victor Hovland, and then the 2 Højgaard brothers or cousins. I don't really know. They're related somehow, but I was looking at some projection models and they both give Åberg and Hovland the same odds essentially to win this tournament. Åberg is at 43-1, Hovland's at 49-1. So that is a difference, but that's both essentially 2% chance to win. And then when you're looking at this top Nordic golfer, it has Åberg to be the best at -105 and Hov at 2-1. So I just don't think, they should have the same odds here, essentially, is what I'm saying. Åberg has missed 2 straight cuts. He's lost strokes on approach in 2 of his last 3 starts. He's probably overvalued a little bit here because of his runner-up at Augusta, but that was his best putting performance ever in his life. So, can he really do that in back-to-back years? You have to regress toward the mean. So I just think there's a little bit of value on Hovland in this market. Top Nordic golfer, 2-1.
Question for you, because Åberg is somebody that I put into a little make the cut parlay situation that we're going to delve into a little bit later on in the show. Given his success that he had last year, and I totally agree with everything you said with the putting, my thought process, he has the familiarity. He's had success on this course. He'll at least make the cut. I'm not going to bet him as... Yeah. He's not somebody I want to back in a lot of those top 5s or outright markets. I'm not interested there. But to make the cut, do you feel like that's a safe leg? Help me out.
Oh, totally. Yes. Okay. Yes. How many legs do you have in the make the cut? Just out of curiosity.
4. So I was trying to I picked guys who are favored pretty heavily to make the cut, but you tie them together for a plus money price, have a little bit of a fun thing the first couple days. That's the approach that I like to take to it so that I have not only the end of event sweat, but I like the stuff to do. The Masters is the one event where I really do get into it.
Right.
So I'll tell you the rest of the legs a little later. I already know one of them that you're going to like in particular. What else, though, in the Masters caught your eye? Whether you were surfing through markets or looking at different things. I love talking to golf bettors and people who do this week in and week out because I'm getting educated through this process. So if you can help me find something else to bet, I am all for it, Grace.
Okay, so I was looking at the top debutante market, actually, and this one is all sorts of wrong if we're just going on the projections. So DraftKings right now has this posted: Davis Thompson, Aaron Rai, Taylor Pendrith, Maverick McNeely, Thomas Dietrich, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more golfers, and then Davis Riley all the way down at 18-1. What the projections have is Taylor Pendrith to finish out of all these guys. All right, so he's listed third in the odd books at 7-1, but he should actually finish first. Maverick McNeely to finish second, and then Davis Riley to finish third. So if you want to bet on any of those guys to win top debutante, Pendrith 7-1, McNeely 8-1, Davis Riley 18-1, I would go ahead and do that. I actually do like Pendrith and McNeely in the top 20 markets as well. They're both plus 330. But this one, I mean, I guess this one's kind of hard to measure, but that is, just looking at the projections compared to the odds, that one was kind of shocking to me. So I might fire on Davis Riley 18-1 just for fun here.
Okay, and if you guys are ready to get into the action as well, remember First Bet has you covered. You can sign up now to access exclusive promotions and bet on hundreds of thrilling horse races each and every day right from your phone or computer. Visit firstbet.com. That's the number one, stbet.com. And use our promo code VSIN200 to score 20% rebate on all of your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today at firstbet.com. And thanks for everybody who played in the Hoops and Horses Pick'em Challenge last week. That was a blast to be a part of. Congrats to all of the winners. We're going to take a quick time out here. When we come back, we will get into what is a loaded MLB slate coming up. We've also got plenty of NHL games that I think there are edges in coming up tonight, which is always fun. Don't go anywhere. So much more to come here on Money Moves.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSIN, the Sports Betting Network.
Get into a little baseball and hockey here as we welcome you back to Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Grace Remington and Stormy Buonantony with you. The baseball did not go awesome for me yesterday. Quite literally hit and miss, Grace, as they say in the sport. So Yankees Tigers went a little sideways for me. I did get my Aaron Judge over total bases, which was nice. I got the over in Padres A's. Phillies money line I thought we were going to come home with, but the Braves had to win a game again. Sorry, producer Wyatt puts his hands up in the back because obviously he's a Braves fan. And my husband was so happy he's a Braves fan as well. So he's like cheering at the television screen while I'm like, God, I lost money on this one. But
how is Brian a Braves fan?
Not Brian, Wyatt, our another one of our producers.
Okay. I was like, that is not allowed. You cannot cherry pick your teams.
No, we're safe there. But because I bet the Padres A's over, and I have every single game so far that they've had these games in Sacramento, Grace, and this was a topic that we talked about coming into the season, about how the dimensions of the ballpark, the way that the weather is out there, the thought that the ball can carry in that ballpark, and it certainly has to this point. Certainly helping the cause yesterday was Dylan Cease's performance, a career worst 9 earned runs and an eventual 10-4 loss for the Padres in the first inning alone. He wastes a 3-0 lead, gives up 6 with 2 outs. So we cashed that right away yesterday. And I'm curious your thoughts on how this works out. I'm going back to the well again today. This has been bet up. Obviously, the books have caught on and bettors are diving into it more and more that they have seen this trend progress. 9.5 last night. I got 9.5. It's 10 now. First 5 over 5, over 5.5 as well, I think is interesting, just considering at least 7 runs have been scored in the first 4 innings of all 5 of those games as well. But is this something where you just ride the wave until it stops? If you're me, considering I bet it every other time, like I look at that 10 and I don't love it. I did bet 9.5 and I was still questioning that decision. But if you are in my shoes and you've been betting it all the way, do you continue doing it until it stops, or do you go on a case-by-case basis?
I mean, it's a lot easier to bet those over 8s, over 8.5s, because 9 is the second most common total in baseball. The 11s and 10s, now you're getting kind of into rarer territory. So like, obviously the market is adjusting because we're seeing a 10 now. I mean, those other games opened 8.5. I don't know if they closed at 8.5 as well, but I mean, you could, right now it's the best weather of pretty much every park. So you could just ride it until, they start setting them at like Rockies territory where it's an 11-12 and you would just stay away. In this game though, I was actually going to give out the Athletics, but I just noticed everyone else had the same idea as I did. Last night they were minus 105. They were actually plus 100 at some places. Right now they're minus 140. They're anywhere from minus 127 to minus 140. So people really got caught on. But I was just going to say, their offense at home, they're mashing, obviously. 381, 6 home runs, and a 129 OPS. The top half of the order, 4 home runs in the last 3 games. And Osvaldo Bido is an okay pitcher. He's at least better than Randy Vasquez. So I would have backed the A's, but it's a little too juicy now.
Well, and I mean, even yesterday, their 5 through 9 batters combined to go 11 of 19 with 8 RBI and 8 runs. So like everybody was doing it well yesterday. The thing about the Padres, and I think like a reason why they're being faded in the spot, did have some injuries in yesterday's loss. Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jake Cronenworth both got hurt on swings in the 5th and 3rd innings, respectively. Tatis like tweaking that surgically repaired shoulder. They're considered day to day. Mike Schmidt said they want to rest him at least 2 days, but I know Tatis said he wanted to see how he feels today, so we'll see. But Jackson Merrill also added to the 10-day injured list with a hamstring strain. So a lot going on there, but an interesting game nonetheless. The Dodgers also lost against to the Nationals yesterday, dropped 4 of 5 games now altogether. Weather in D.C. has been cold, rainy, windy, maybe a team from L.A. going across the country in those conditions not feeling awesome. The Bats have struggled to start this series. Today we've got Landon Knack on the bump for L.A. Dodgers opened minus 170. I'm seeing this up to, minus 185. Yeah, I was looking at maybe a Nationals run line here. It's nice to kind of get the 1.5 at home. You get the final at bat if you need it, facing a young guy on the road in Knack. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but do you think that could be worth a look, or what's your approach?
So I actually think there's still an edge on the Dodgers money line. One model I checked have them at minus 220 odds of winning this game. So at minus 180, there's still an edge, but you will not ever catch me giving anything out juicier than a minus 150 on these here airwaves. So I think a better way to play this is the Dodgers team total over 4.5 at minus 130. And this is just a total fade of Nats pitcher Jake Irvin. So his ERA to start the year is 5.40. And it really is that bad because his expected ERA is over 11 and his FIP is almost 7. You look at some of the underlying metrics, and he's gotten lucky. He has an 85% strand rate, a 333 BABIP, which is batting average on balls in play. He has never been a high strikeout rate pitcher, but his strikeout rate is even lower than it has been over his career. It's at 11.4%, most likely because the whiff rate on his fastball is down. And the reason why the whiff rate on the fastball is down is because the velo has dropped a full mile an hour. So he's had to lean on his curveball, which is not a good pitch. And now he's facing the best offense ever. So this is pretty much just a fade of Jake Irvin here. Dodgers team total over 4.5 at minus 130.
Anything else that you like on today's slate?
Yeah, actually, I love several things in the Twins and Royals. So I never give out Yurfie plays, yes, run first inning, but I think it's in play here just because of the name value of these two pitchers, Seth Lugo and Joe Ryan. But you look at some of the underlying metrics, they're dealing with some stuff. So Seth Lugo obviously had a breakout season last year when he won the Cy Young, but this is his age 35 season. He's not supposed to get any better. He was able to limit the damage in his first 2 starts, but the underlying numbers show he actually got a little lucky. His expected ERA is 2 full points higher than his actual ERA. His stuff plus, location plus, pitching plus are all down, likely because he's not getting swings and misses on his pitches this year. The whiff rate is cut in half on every pitch he throws, and his walk rate has almost doubled. So don't feel great about him. Joe Ryan, a.k.a. Johnny Depp on the mound. Love him, but the velo on his top 3 pitches is down. He's obviously still recovering from injury that he suffered in August, I believe. But this drop in velo is concerning. He's down 1.5 miles an hour on the fastball, 1 mile on the sweeper, and then 2.2 miles an hour on the splitter. And one of the local beat reporters actually asked him about that velo change, and he did reference coming back from injury. So I just wonder if he's just not there yet. So anyways, I would play the Yurfie at plus 116 on FanDuel. And I split my wager between that and then the overall total, the over 7.5, because it should be one of the best hitting environments of the day as well.
Okay. Reminder, everybody, we'll have all of our picks and we'll do best bets at the end of the hour, but all of our picks are always available up at vsin.com. We've also got articles breaking down the MLB slate, the NBA, the NHL, everything each and every day at the website. And we've got our summer special going on right now, which is our best deal of the season, just $59. You get full VSiN Pro access to everything we do now through August 1st. It's 50% off the regular monthly price. That gets you the picks, like I mentioned, exclusive betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 video access on our VSiN Watch app. Plus, the Kentucky Derby is around the corner. That betting guide and our NFL betting guide when it drops this summer. You get all of that right now. $59, vsin.com/subscribe. Come join us. Last couple minutes here, we'll get into a little NHL. And again, whatever I don't get to here, we will hit at the end of the hour. But a couple games I do have interest in. The Sharks and Wild, one of them. Sharks team total under today, 2.5. It is juicy. It's kind of gross. -155. I know already Grace is putting her nose up at it, and I don't blame you at all because we hate doing it. But I just feel like it makes so much sense tonight. Sharks have been held down to 2 or fewer goals in 5 of their last 6 games. And this is the last game for Marc-Andre Fleury at home and potentially in the regular season for his career. So I feel like he's going to play well. The D in front of him is going to play well. Looks like Kirill Kaprizov is going to be back tonight. Same for Eriksson Ek. So maybe a little bit of a pop for the Wild today, which is why they are such a big favorite right now, -325. But the Sharks team total under 2.5 feels very realistic for me. I think that we're going to get a playoff type performance in Leafs Lightning. So I am on the under 6.5 in that game, which I'll give you more of the rationale to why a little bit later. And then in Blues Oilers, I'm not going to go so far as to say wrong team favored, but I do low-key feel that way today. Edmonton just lost to the Ducks. They were shut out by the Kings, barely beat that bad Sharks team I was just talking about. They're dealing with a ton of injuries, have no need to rush back Connor McDavid. Leon Draisaitl came back from injury only to get hurt again. I don't expect him there. No Frederick, no Matthias Ekholm, no Klingberg, no Stuart Skinner. Relatively meaningless game for them. Meanwhile, the Blues are coming into form. Their lone loss in their last 13 games was to the best team in the NHL in the Winnipeg Jets. So they're running hot. I like the Blues at +124 is what I bet them at Circa. I think it's +120 across the board right now. So getting a good plus money price on them against an injury-depleted Edmonton Oilers team. So we'll get more on that a little bit later. We're going to head back to the Masters next. The one and only Stephen Hennessey of Golf Digest is going to break down his prop bets and best angles to approach the Masters. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
The Masters is here, and our partner ProfitX is offering the best odds all tournament long. ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states now, first of its kind in the U.S. You'll be able to make your sports picks against other groups of fans rather than the books. Exchanges guarantee the best odds on average by 10 to 20%. You can even request your own odds in some cases. Download ProfitX today with the code VSIN, that's VSIN, and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. As we welcome you back here to Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Happy Masters Eve to all who celebrate. Alongside Grace Remington, Stormy Buonantony with you. And one guy who celebrates is joining us right now on the Progressive Guest Line, Stephen Hennessey, managing editor of Golf Digest, oversees all of the betting content over there. You can follow him on X at @S_HennessyGD. And you, my friend, have actually played the course out there at Augusta. You've been out there the last handful of years. I know it's bittersweet for you not to be there this year, but you just welcomed a new child. So I guess that's pretty amazing. Welcome in.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of the best days on the sports calendar. You know, all of our bets are live right now before the action starts tomorrow. So it's a day filled with excitement and pumped to talk about some of the best bets that I like this year.
You have the rare experience of actually playing Augusta National as a media member. Yep. What did you learn after walking the course yourself?
Goodness, yeah. I mean, such a cool experience. I think the thing that, you wouldn't really know unless you're lucky enough to walk inside the ropes, because media members, it's the one tournament where you can't really go inside the ropes. the thing that really struck me was how tiny some of these greens are and how small some of the landing spots are. Like the third green and the seventh green, on TV, we see them as sort of birdie holes, especially the third hole is a short par 4. But, you stand over a wedge shot of 50, 60 yards. And, once you get up and you're able to walk on the green and see how tiny the landing spot is, if you're off by about 2 or 3 yards, you're down a collection area, your up and down probability is insanely low. So, that really taught me, to have a little patience with some of these players if they're not making birdie on a hole that they should. But, how important approach play really is here at Augusta National. And, you look at all the stats and all the metrics that prepay success. And, it's approach play. It's the short game, especially. And, off the tee game, you have to be long off the tee because it's one of the longest courses on tour. So, such a cool experience. My short game isn't as good as some of the guys I'm betting, but thankfully I'm not competing this year. And some of the guys that I'm betting have really good short games and really good approach play.
It's got to give you that much more respect, though, for what these guys do, actually seeing it in front of you and knowing what it feels like in those spots. And, Stephen, you've got an article dropped this morning with a collection of prop bets from all of your Golf Digest experts. What was your favorite bet as you got through this, whether it be an outright or one of those derivative markets that you're like, I really, really like the way this could play out?
Yeah, I think our favorite prop bet was Colin Morikawa to finish in the top 20 after round 1, which you could find at a lot of the books. DraftKings has it at plus 100. There's a stat that he's finished in the top 10 basically all of the last 3 years. Obviously, one of the outright favorites, Morikawa, is about 16-1 outright. He's a popular pick amongst our Golf Digest expert picks panel. But at plus 100, he starts fast. And, he had a great year last year at Augusta. He's someone that a lot of people like. And especially after round 1, we expect him to be up there. So, firing like a 68 on Thursday, that's going to give him a good chance to get near the top of the leaderboard. And with all you need is a top 20. And this is a field of only 96 players, shorter than a normal tour event in other majors. So, really like that bet, Colin Morikawa plus 100 at DraftKings.
Obviously, the story going into the Masters is always going to be, can Rory finally do it and complete the slam? Well, heading into this week, he says he's never been in better form. He's made a few changes to his short game. How do you like his chances this year? Yeah, I mean, if there's one year Rory's going to do it, you have to think it's this year. From a betting perspective, plus 650, it's tough when, that really boosts the odds of a lot of these other guys down the board, which we could get into. But, yeah, I mean, he's definitely trending. He's won 2 really big events this year. It's not the first time he's entered Augusta in really good form. In fact, if you look at strokes gained total, this is the 3rd best form that he's entered Augusta in. But, it's the 17th time, guys, that he's played in the Masters, and he's never gotten it done. He's going for that career Grand Slam. The stat that really jumps out to me is everyone else who's completed the career Grand Slam, they did it after 3 tries, winning that 4th leg of the Grand Slam. This is Rory's 11th time now going for the Masters to complete the Grand Slam. So, something in his head. He's trying everything. He was hypnotized, apparently. One of my colleagues, Gabby Herzig from The Athletic, just wrote a story. He went through, hypnosis training. It's real scar tissue that he has at Augusta. Wow.
Can he get over it? I'm not sure. I'm not going to bet on it, though, at plus 650.
It's fascinating. Meanwhile, Scotty Scheffler, the favorite to repeat and get another green jacket. John Rahm, the 3rd shot on the board, 13-1. Colin, who we discussed, 16-1. As you kind of went through, who did you put in the portfolio for your outrights ultimately when all was said and done?
Yeah, I started with Justin Thomas. He's at 25-1. He's 3rd in my model this week. He's back to being a top 5 iron player in the world, and he has a top 5 short game. And I mentioned those are the 2 important things to success at Augusta. He's wild off the tee, but that doesn't really matter because there's really no rough here. And the putter can hold him back at times, but we know bad putters could do well. So, we had him on our podcast like it was 6 or 7 years ago, and he talked about why he thinks the Masters is the best major for him. So he's been close before. I think this is the time he gets it done. And then the second guy that I like, Russell Henley at 50-1. I just think there's a thing with him that unlocks a higher ceiling, and it's his improved short game. He's always been a great ball striker, tee to green savant, but his short game was always shaky, but not anymore. He's fourth in weighted strokes gained around the green, hugely important here, and he just notched his biggest win of his career a couple of weeks ago at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So I really believe he's ready to take that next step and become a major champion for the first time. He's been in contention, but I think this is the time he really gets it done.
I'm looking at your article here on golfdigest.com, and the player you're fading, along with a few other of your colleagues, is Bryson DeChambeau. So why is that?
Yeah, it's Bryson's short game. His equipment is odd. He has the same length irons on every iron that he has. So what that does with his wedges, and that applies to his wedges too, it doesn't quite jive with his short game. And he has had some success at Augusta. He finished 7th last year, was around the lead. But this is just not the major for him, in my opinion. And the odds are really short now at 14-1. He's obviously a hugely popular golfer, probably the most popular golfer these days with the way that, his YouTube success has taken off and the younger generation loves him. But I like the other majors a lot more for Bryson, like the PGA, U.S. Open. He's a 2-time U.S. Open champ. Those are the majors to really bet Bryson. I kind of hope he does it for content purposes. It would be awesome if Bryson wins, but 14-1 is just a little too short for me.
Stephen, we got about a minute and a half left with you. And for people who don't typically bet golf, but they want to have action on the Masters, everybody's betting it. Everybody's going to have their television screens on this weekend. What's just some general advice that you would give to people who are jumping in this weekend? What approach that they should take on this?
Yeah, I would say, other tour events, you could bet those live and kind of catch someone on a Saturday or Sunday who's, 5 or 6 strokes back and, have a big number and catch someone live outright. That's kind of not what we see at Augusta. You have to be within shouting distance of the lead. There's a stat, you have to be trailing by like 3 or fewer strokes entering the weekend to actually get it done. So, that's a little different here. Definitely favor the guys with great approach play, great around the green game, and are really long off the tee. So some other guys I didn't mention, Minwoo Lee, Cam Smith, Sepp Straka, those are all guys that I like to do well here because they kind of check all those boxes. So, and experience. Obviously, we know no one has ever won the Masters since 1979 in their first time here. Ludwig Aberg almost did it last year. But, there's certain rules and certain trends you have to follow with Augusta, and they always come true. There's something about this place that those are always the stats that come to fruition at the Masters.
Really awesome insight today, Stephen. We appreciate your time and enjoy the week. It's going to be awesome.
Thanks so much, guys. You too.
And congrats again on your new one, second child. So cool. We're going to hit a quick timeout here. When we come back, we're going to round things out, finalize our Masters bets going into tomorrow, as well as best bets in MLB and NHL for the night. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Wrapping up this Wednesday edition of Money Moves live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Stormy Buonantony and Grace Remington with you as it's time already for our best bets of the day, presented by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. And Grace, we've got a lot of action underway. So, which sport do you want to start with? I'll let you handle things. Where you want to go?
Man. Where to? What's coming up first? Baseball, I guess. Maybe we should go chronologically. That's what we'll do.
Perfect.
Okay. So, my play that's already going on right now, I had the Marlins Mets under 7. We're in good shape. No runs through 2. But my official play for tonight will be the Twins Royals over 7.5. You have one of the best hitting environments of the day. The temperature jumping from 59 to 67 degrees. So Kansas City should be performing to its standard as a top 5 hitting ballpark today. Also, the hitters, it's their third day hitting in this environment, so they're used to the path of the ball off the mound at this point. 2 pitchers I want to fade here. I think they're getting a little boost just because of the brand name here. Seth Lugo coming off a Cy Young season, but he is age 35, not supposed to get any better. He's limited the damage in his first 2 starts, but the underlying metrics show he's gotten lucky. His expected ERA a full 2 points higher than his actual ERA. Stuff plus and location plus are down. He's not getting swings and misses on his pitches, and the velo on his fastball is down. Joe Ryan, who was working his way back from an injury last season, the velo on his top 3 pitches is down. 1.5 miles an hour on the fastball, 1 mile an hour on the sweeper, 2.2 miles an hour on the splitter. That's really bad. So he talked to a beat reporter about it, and he did reference that. I already was looking at the metrics thinking, I don't think this guy is healed. And then he actually said that himself to a local beat reporter, is that he's still trying to get used to the up downs, which for those who don't know, an up for a pitcher is every time they get up out of the bullpen. So when you get up to go to the second inning, get up to go to the third, he's still getting used to those breaks. But his hard hit rate and barrel rate are up. So anyways, I like the over 7.5 in Twins Royals.
Okay, the only additional baseball I have, in addition to what we did with Marlins Mets, thank you, Grace. I'm glad that we were like-minded on that one. We'll see how it goes ultimately when all is said and done, but love a team play. I'm going back to the well on the Padres A's over. I bet it at 9.5. We're seeing 10s across the board now, which I know isn't fun. I do also lean over on the first 5, over 5.5. And I know that everybody's going to look at me like I'm taking crazy pills, but 5-0 to the over in this ballpark. At least 7 runs have been scored in the first 4 innings in all 5 games as well. Both lineups are capable. Weather today, 74 degrees, sunny, humidity, great conditions for this to continue in the ball carrying. And it's one of those things where, do I love the bet? No. But I'm riding the wave until I lose. And that's just the way that we're going to go with this for now. Since we're going chronologically, I'll get my hockey out of the way real quickly before we jump into the Masters again. I didn't realize I was going to get such a good number on this Leafs Lightning total, but apparently a lot of people are like-minded with the thought process on this being a playoff type game. And if anybody bets the NHL playoffs, you know that typically lends to lower scoring, tighter checking type of a game. And the total now from 6.5 down to 5.5. The juice is on the over now at -135, but I bet -125 on the under 6.5 goals. I also did a parlay and I think this could be a good approach too. I parlayed the alt under 7.5 goals with Lightning money line, but I think that it's fair play to do that with the 6.5 as well. So Lightning money line and under 6.5 goals. I was super disappointed in the price here on the Lightning at -185. I thought we were going to get a better number on it with the Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back. I ended up fading the Leafs yesterday. I had the Panthers in regulation, which was a sweat I did not enjoy, but that was a low scoring game too. And I think that's kind of the same type of thing we're going to get here. A big reason for that. Andrei Vasilevsky in net for the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. Former Vezina Trophy winner, feeling himself. He's 15-5-0 his last 20 starts. Last 5 starts, giving up 5 total goals. Was unreal against the Rangers the other night. In that 20-game span, save percentage over 93%. Obviously, we know the Leafs are a very capable scoring team, but just 1 goal last night against the Panthers. 5 straight games they've seen go under the posted total. So that's the way that I lean here. I told you earlier, I also like the Sharks team total under 2.5 goals today with Marc-Andre Fleury and what is likely going to be the last regular season start of his career. I think he's going to play well. I think the D in front of him is going to play well. And the Sharks are just bad offensively, held down to 2 or fewer goals in 5 of the last 6 games. And I think that the Wild, when they win games, they have to be playing well defensively and kind of that low score and drag them out game. So I like that. And then in Blues Oilers, I'm taking a shot on the Blues as an underdog against a depleted Edmonton Oilers team. I think they're just favored because they're at home. They do not have the talent on the ice that they should to be that type of a favorite tonight. Okay, let's go to the Masters, Grace. What do you want to lock in as your best bets from the Masters?
Okay, absolute locks, because locks totally exist. Let's go. Patrick Reed, top 20 at +210. Corey Connors, 65-1 outright, and then top 20 +175. Joaquin Niemann, 35-1 outright. And Justin Thomas, 25-1 outright, top 5, plus 450. All of those can be found on either FanDuel or DraftKings. So essentially, I'm just going to try to sum this up here for all of them. I have been looking at players who rate highly in strokes gained tee to green. That is the most important metric here. And players who rate highly in scoring statistics, which is eagles, birdie or better, conversion percentage, par 5 scoring percentage, and then also players who are good on approach. And so that's what led me to these 4 guys. Justin Thomas, because I feel like that one requires a bit of an explanation. Putting is always the thing that holds him back. He missed the last 2 cuts at Augusta because he was losing strokes putting, but his previous 3 starts before that, so 2020 through 2022, he finished 4th, tied 21st, and 8th because he gained strokes putting. And so looking at his season in 2025, he just gained 6.8 strokes putting at Valspar, 4.6 strokes putting at the Players. He's picked up strokes putting in 5 of 8 events this year. So I'd like to think he's finally got it all together. So there we go. Patrick Reed, Corey Connors, Joaquin Niemann, Justin Thomas. Colin Morikawa, I think his outright and finishing positions markets have been juiced at this point. They're like, people have gotten to them. The odds are a little too short. But I really love that take that Stephen just gave us about the first round top 20. I found it on FanDuel at minus 115. I don't like, so I think I would just go with that top 10, first round top 10 at plus 260.
Yeah, because I was going to say the same thing. I really like that approach. I did bet Colin Morikawa the other day just for a top 10 for the tournament at plus 150, but I liked that round 1 angle with him getting out to a hot start. So yeah, plus 260 on DraftKings and elsewhere right now to be in the top 10 after round 1. I gave these out yesterday, but just to repeat, I'm back in Shane Lowry this week in the top 20 market. I got him at plus 120, as well as an outright winner, 45-1. I wanted to sprinkle on Rory just in case he does it. So I got 7-1 here at Circa there. And I also put together a make the cut parlay for golfers, pays plus 135. Ludwig Åberg, who we talked about a little bit earlier, obviously the second place finish last year at the Masters, now kind of has that lay of the land of the course. I feel confident he's going to make the cut. And then other guys I believe in this week, we know Xander Schauffele up at the top of the board, so I put him in there. Shane Lowry, who I just told you I believe in, I have a top 20 on him and an outright, so if he's going to be a contender, he's obviously making the cut. And I knew this was the leg you would like, Grace, because you highlighted him earlier and you bet him. Corey Connors is, so those are the 4 legs here. Åberg, Schauffele, Lowry, Connors, plays plus 135 when you put them all together. These real quickly, best bets presented by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. And for new customers, get the GBank Visa Signature Card. You spend $1,000 your first 90 days, get a $250 bonus. Apply now at VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions do apply. And I've done some Googling for the people at home. If you wanted the exact ounces to make the at-home azalea, I usually eyeball it, but I got the science for you to concoct your cocktail coming up this week. 2 ounces of good vodka or gin, if you prefer. 2 ounces of pineapple juice, an ounce of lemon juice, not lemonade, people, lemon juice, and a spoonful of grenadine. So you want to make your at-home azalea, you want to get the vibes right on the couch while you wait for the green jacket to be presented. This is the way you do it, Grace.
The gin sounds really good. I don't know. Pineapple, I feel like you either like it or you don't. I like the fruit, but as a juice, that's really strong. But I'll trust you, especially with the grenadine in there. It's probably a nice little balance.
Guess who likes it? Guess who likes pineapple juice?
You.
This girl.
You.
Well, you know what? I've told you this before because I have a sweet tooth. My husband says anything that I eat, even when it's healthy, or same thing when I drink it, even when it's healthy, I find a way to make it unhealthy. And I feel like that's the same thing with alcohol. So, you know, I could do a Tito's and water with a lemon, but no, give me all the pineapple juice.
No. That reminds me of my grandma. She used to sprinkle sugar on her fruit. Like you could have had the naturally sweet treat, but now you're going to go and do that.
Be still my heart, Grace Remington's grandma. Strawberries and sugar. Why not? Have a great day, everybody.